Count to 5, and then we'll go.
Who's going to open the meeting?
Yeah, who is the,
Okay.
John.
Question. This is the first meeting. I mean, do you guys typically start your meeting like
But I don't,
Maybe we should.
I don't
That's a
think
great
that's a
idea.
bad idea.
All right. Well, the first thing we'll do is we'll call the meeting to order at 9:02, June 23rd. All right, we're good?
Okay.
All right. So we'll start the meeting. Is there a motion to begin our meetings going forward with the pledge?
Okay.
I make a motion.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we'll begin.
All right.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I guess we'll bring the meeting to order here. I mean, first, for those at home, we'll introduce the members of the board.
Okay.
Sorry.
Marcia Wagner.
Todd Donahoe.
Barbara Zarowski.
John Breyer.
Ellen LaPrise.
And Joanne could not make it today, although she's continuing to stay on the board.
That's correct.
So the first thing that we should do, because of the recent appointments, is the reorganization. All right. Typically, I'm looking at what we have today. We have a chairman, secretary, and a clerk. Do you want to keep those positions? Sometimes there's a vice chairman.
We're going to add the vice chairman, and we're going to add the secretary treasurer,
Okay.
since the budgeting will be one of the upcoming goals for that board.
All right. So it was a secretary treasurer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Marcia has been the secretary. You still
Secretary
want to be-
treasurer.
Secretary
That's
treasurer.
different than-
Yeah, and then you, vice chairman, right?
Okay.
And then chairman. So we will begin with the chairman position first. Are there any nominations?
You?
I will nominate John Breyer, based on his past experience in town government.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Any additional nominations?
Nope.
Seeing none, we'll bring that to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I accept, thank you.
Congratulations.
The next position to appoint would be the vice chairman. Are there any nominations?
Yes, I would nominate Barbara Zarowski as vice chairman.
Second that.
Okay, it's been seconded by Ellen. Is there any further discussion or additional nominations? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Barbara.
The next position to appoint is the secretary treasurer. Are there any nominations?
Me?
We need to discuss it first.
Sure.
Marcia's been our secretary right along. I don't know if we want to have secretary, treasurer separate. I don't know if you still want to be secretary, Marcia?
I'll accept secretary treasurer. We don't have many funds or many expenses, so I don't see
Or
that.
you
to
could be secretary and
No,
Todd
there's
would
two,
be
there's two
treasurer?
separate things. The secretary is a secretary to organize around them. However, we have been doing this. Secretary treasurer has everything to do with the money or the budgeting. Two
Well,
different things.
I suggest I will accept the secretary, and then we'll make a separate nomination
Yes.
for treasurer.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's fair enough. Everybody's good with that?
Sure.
All right, so there's a nomination for Marcia to be the secretary.
I second that motion.
It's been seconded by Todd. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And then
Okay.
the position of treasurer. Are there any nominations?
I'll nominate Todd,
Okay, Todd,
based on his experience.
you've been nominated as treasurer. I will second that. Any additional nominations? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we have our new Economic Development Committee.
Wonderful.
And we need to do clerk.
It's,
Yes.
Right now, Barbara's the clerk officially.
Would you be willing to do that?
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
All right, there is a nomination for Ellen to be clerk,
I second that.
seconded by Todd. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
So that takes care of that. Now, the next item on the agenda was the accept the minutes. That's not available, that's my understanding, right,
For next month.
for next month? Is there an archive of the old minutes here, or?
I believe so. Fred, you have archives of our meetings, previous meetings?
The recordings are online.
Okay, the recordings
Yeah.
are online. Excellent.
I don't know.
Oh, right?
The last time I checked, they went into 2015.
Okay.
Last time I checked, we're not on there at all. But if we want to, we can contact whoever's in charge of that department, and they'll make them available.
Okay.
I think they're all on discs.
Yeah, they're all on discs.
Now, previous to 2015, I know the board had met with a number of different businesses and done surveys. Where would that information be if we wanted to kind of read up and get up to speed on what's been done?
That would be in the minutes as well.
Okay.
And we had, I think we had two, like forums. We invited the public, and we had a meeting, I believe it was at Nichols College. And then we had a second one here in the town hall, basically bringing in businesses to try and recruit interest in economic development. They were not well attended,
Okay.
but we did get a feel for what the people want in the community. There was feedback for that. And I think we had like 13 businesses, and on the top of my head, we had Nichols College, we had Tri-Valley, Help Me
Bakery.
Folks, a
The
bakery,
bakery store high insurance.
Still High Insurance, but
Yes, you- I think that, yeah, we can revisit. I think we should start all over.
but they were in our minutes.
So where are the actual, any kind of official business or surveys or those results? Which department? Do we have like a folder at the selectman's office or something? Or like a records
In writing,
depository?
right.
Or Finn has, she has
Or has
she has a folder with all of our minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so we need
I've got
to maybe get us up
I
to
have
speed by
copies of a
taking,
lot of them.
especially, I know you've been involved quite extensively in the past, but just to kind of get us up to speed in regards to, you know, what happened, you know, in the past.
All right, so I'll talk to Aura, I'll get a look, I'll see how much is there, because I don't want to
Right.
overburden, but it'd be nice to be able to print out anything that's in the past so that we're not reinventing the wheel.
Yep.
I agree.
All right, so the town clerk is the official storage of our records. Okay, so anything of significance that the board does, I will make sure Aura gets a copy of it. So for instance, you know, let's just say if we move forward with a proposal for the brochure or whatever, we'll make sure that there's an official copy in there. That way if we don't get run over by trains, there's a record of what we
Got
did.
it.
Okay.
Old business, update on the progress with the Dudley brochure.
Right.
Okay. Well, everybody agrees they like the map, and we need to start planning what we want to do. The cost for it would be, if we got 2,000 copies, it would be $4,500. If we got 2,500 copies, it would be $5,500.
Well, do we know what the content is actually going to be? I mean,
No, we don't.
all right.
We haven't gotten that far.
I like the layout of that one. It shows what's available now, what is in progress. It shows a map with the locations. The purpose of it was for economic development for that particular town. Someone from CMRPC mentioned to me that they can condense our current map to fit that size brochure.
Okay.
So the purpose of the map, just to be clear, is it solely for economic development? Are you looking to sell Dudley? Is it for the residents, or is it really for outsiders coming in?
It's,
I guess both, if we're looking for, it would be both for current residents and business owners and outsiders coming in.
So on the map itself, it pretty much just looks like a zoning map, right? This is the Charlton one we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
What would we want to see on the map portion? Probably infrastructure, right?
Yeah, I would
Water,
say
sewer
so.
lines?
Good, that would be good.
Yep.
Rail trail.
Okay, so you bring up a good point. So do we want to mark the recreational opportunities that are available so that if someone wants the map, and maybe he's looking at it for water, sewer, or development, but that local residents could grab it to see, okay, what does the land trust own? Where's the rail trails?
Right.
I don't know, ball fields?
Golf course.
Golf course?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you want to be able to include that on there as well?
I
Okay.
would think so,
So,
absolutely.
so the recreational opportunities for people in town.
Schools.
That's right.
And, write something about our schools because.
For new residents coming in.
Yeah. Because it's something that realtors can use too when they're selling a new house to somebody from out of town.
Yeah, because it looks like this is more, looking at the one from Charlton, it's very, very nice. So this is really more geared towards businesses,
Yeah.
right? So in a brochure, I think you're right, John. I think we would need to say, okay, we want to do a lot of, some of the infrastructure, the business piece, but also, besides all of those things that are important to businesses, yeah, we also want to attract people to the area. And is it, how can we set this up? In regards to content, having the things that are going to attract the businesses, but not only, hey, for the residents or people that might be looking to, to move here, what do we have to offer? And we do have a lot. We've got Nichols College, which I've spoken with Barbara in the past saying, not that, I don't know if people ever considered this like a college town, but we've got a great little college up on the hill there. And what other things, like you said, we do have a golf course. We have, the schools, great. Fantastic, things like that. What other pieces could stick out that people would say, oh, wow, what a great little spot, bedroom community, I think you would referred to it as. But is that even possible to fit into, a brochure? I'm sure we could figure it out somehow. But it seems like, we don't want to put too much, but just enough to really, highlight it.
Yeah.
We narrowed it down to this because of the cost,
Because of the cost?
to get our foot in the door, because the brochures are like $12,000.
That would be
The
for a big
bigger
one.
format, like a,
Yeah, we could have gotten a smaller brochure.
Yeah. And who are we using for the printing?
Kelly Turtelot, she's.
We're not zeroed in on
Anybody?
anyone, but
She's
she
been-
has been working with us.
Okay.
But we don't have a contract with anybody.
Is there anybody local, like in Dudley, that we could use?
I don't know.
No? Okay.
we used to have carrier printers, but I think they're on the Webster, they in Webster. We definitely can use Dennis Craig, BT Copyask.
T-copy, yeah. He's in Charlton,
Yeah.
but
But we're close in the same school system at least,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, what we could do too is, once we know exactly what we want and the content, and the layout, we could develop just a quick bid spec, and leave it to Greg to source it. Maybe get 3 quotes. At the amount, I think, doesn't actually probably have to go out to bid, but you probably need 3 formal quotes.
that sounds like, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And so in regards to the content, John, if any other members of the board here have any, besides, taking a look at this, have seen something that, towns that have had brochures that have really, stuck out, or maybe, that we want to, like you had said, not reinvent the wheel, but, kind of model it after?
We have samples, we have a number of towns. I didn't bring them in, but next meeting I
That
will.
was wonderful, but this is all bigger,
Yeah,
higher cost. You
Way-
know, this is
way
probably
higher.
the, you know, yeah. I mean, they are all wonderful, but they cost money.
Right. Okay.
I like the idea of the live, work, play, you know, in Dudley. And so, because, you know, as we're talking about this, I'm thinking every single thing can be translated into a website as well.
Yep.
So, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
nice.
absolutely. I think charities are important too,
beach.
believe me or not. Dudley's Women Club, for once,
Lifeguards.
I'm sure they would want some kind of a presence in that. There's, you know, women coming into this town, they're looking for, you know, all kinds of charities, charity organizations to join. Dudley's Women Classes are pride and joy. They're helping a lot of in community.
It's
Hands
true.
is another one,
Yeah.
you know, for
Yeah.
elderly people, you know, we
And
help
John,
them.
John brings up a good point that, you know, because I really do think it's important to have a brochure. But when you talk about website and updating and really, you know, putting a lot of our efforts towards that, there's a lot more content, I would imagine, that you could put on there on a website than, you know,
They're in the brochure,
in a
absolutely.
brochure, so.
So what if we set up, right, because the two big things right now, was modernizing the website, right, and making that sort of the
definitely.
main brochure, and then we have this. What if we set up a couple of really small teams, two-person teams? That way people can bounce things off. And so on the map and the content, you know, if maybe we can get 2 volunteers, just kind of, okay, they'll take point on this, then on the website, set up a team of 2, and maybe these are our 2 focus items.
I think that's a great idea.
initially. Does that work for everybody?
I'd like to, I don't have really any, I mean, I'm not as, you have the background in the web design and things like that, but I'd be very interested in working with you on that, if that
On
would be
the
possible.
website?
Yeah,
Okay.
be okay.
And Ellen, do you want to take point on the map, and do we have someone that, or 2 people that willing to?
Sure, I'll zero
I have
in.
to, yeah.
Oh, we can do 3.
We can do 3.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
All right.
it's the map, and it's plus whatever else we're gonna put on.
I personally have to get up to date on the open meeting law, especially in the new technology age, because email was just kind of starting last time I was around. Because a lot of this is going to be correspondence, probably just back and forth with each other. Hey, I saw this, or hey, I saw that. So has everybody taken their recent like ethics or open meeting training that's required by the state? Ethics?
I have to take it.
Yeah, okay, so when you have to get sworn in
Yep,
by Laura, and then she has a package, and then most of the stuff I think is online today.
okay.
Just be sensitive that I believe if there's 3 or more, it constitutes a meeting.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah. So even on emails and stuff.
Okay.
So,
That's a good point.
you know, but you don't want to have your hands tied too, but you want to make sure you're complying with the law. So
So maybe we should keep it 2.
that's why I'm thinking 2 is a good number.
Yeah.
That way, you know, you can kind of share, and then when we come here officially, you know, during our meetings, okay, you say, here's the update, and then we can really
our
have a
input.
discussion about maybe some of the due diligence that you did or I did.
I like that.
Does
I
that
agree.
work?
I
But
definitely am.
Okay, Barb, do you want to work with Ellen?
Oh, so you work together. So define, so what is gonna be your job? Define something for myself.
this, they will,
Placing who will go into the brochure itself? Is that what you
no,
mean?
not even at this point. It's really, right, the content, you know, really kind of setting out the layout, what they would want. It's really kind of getting us maybe 80% there on this. And then, you know, if they decide that they'd really like to list the properties there, that's something that
yeah.
Joanne and,
Because that would have to be upgraded.
Constantly updated,
Yeah,
exactly.
which, that we can do on a website, because
Yep.
it's gonna be so much easier to, you know, control and upgrade.
Nichols College, they donated $500, and they gave us
Yeah, we have-
pictures, too.
really,
Yeah, we
okay.
already
And
have some.
writing about what they wanted it to say. So Nichols College would be a good one. The golf course.
Well, we already have the ones that donated, so we need to make sure that
We do.
they,
And we probably we probably should try to get more donations to go towards the website. There's a lot of big companies that, haven't gotten involved.
How
No,
about I work on
100%.
that? How about I do the businesses, the local businesses? I'm gonna make the
Thank you,
list with all the
Sas.
businesses that we have,
Okay.
and they'll be our targets.
Yeah.
Okay.
As it sounds, for anything that we might need, advertising or the website,
Okay,
promotions of any
Great.
kind.
Okay,
Good idea.
that would
It's a
be
nice
really good.
piece.
And that might be an option too. I mean, depending on how many businesses, to buy a star, to help fund this.
Yeah.
That shows where their business is. But I think developing the whole asset list of all the businesses too.
All right, so I do it, in Excel.
How, I mean, with email and stuff going back and forth between members, what is the typical rule? Do you remember? As far as, I mean, are you allowed to send are you allowed to send informational emails back and forth to each other?
I think information is fine as long as it has no opinion to it, if it's
Okay.
general information.
All right.
Yeah,
As long as there's no opinion.
but we'll double check with that.
All right, and I'll double check on the open meeting one, and I'll do the due diligence, and we'll come at the next meeting, we'll get it formalized, so that none of us
Yes.
ever gets in trouble, or gets the town in trouble.
Yeah,
Okay.
And just a quick question, John, and the other members of the board here. You had mentioned the budget, or getting money from the town for this. What was that? Is that still something that we will be getting, a budget to work with?
Yeah, they said they still had the money, right? How much was that?
we, I think we got $2,000 in donations, and we have, I think, $2,500 from the fall town meeting, so a total of 45.
Which
Okay.
is what we need to
And-
get that going.
Right.
Yeah, which is perfect.
And Dickie Andrelevich, I think he had talked about donating 1,500, but we haven't gotten back to him.
Yeah,
All
we should
right.
invite him.
Well, I'll follow up with Dickie, because I'd really like to understand, like, what he's doing up there,
Yeah.
and what he may need from the town as resources and assets, because our best shot for any kind of an office park or industrial that can get put on the tax rolls quick would be this piece of land up there. So, why don't I talk to him, and then I'll come back to the board with an update on what his short-term and long-term anticipation is, and maybe what he might need, or if he needs anything, or,
Should we bring them into the next meeting? So that's,
you can certainly invite him, yeah. You want me,
Good idea.
yeah, that's what okay.
Yeah. That we can all ask, meet him.
then there's
can let me know.
transparency.
So I could
Yep,
put it on the
yep.
agenda. Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, and then, as far as the website, as long as it's okay, with the board, if you authorize me and Todd to begin to talk to Greg and Deb Thibodeau, I think, who's running the website today, understand what the back end is and how it might look. And what I anticipate that we would probably do is we set up a beta site, that way everybody, and we'll even put a feedback thing for people on the town, if people that watch these meetings may want to actually play around with the beta.
Sure.
And we'll just kind of see user friendliness. But I think if we keep the same kind of live, work, play theme
I like that.
as on the website that we're doing, like with this map and the whole quality of life. And but we'll look at like color schemes and all that stuff.
Right. Absolutely.
All right.
Take a look at this for us too. I mean, we have a presence on through the town website, so we have that link from the main, then we have our,
Yeah, where is that hosted, or who did that for us? Because that's very different than, like, once you click the economic development link on the town's website, it's very different than the other pages. Is that like Central Mass or something?
Did Jeff do, was it?
Jimmy.
Jimmy, did he do anything?
I believe so, he was working with somebody in the town.
We had a fellow on board for a short time who had that kind of
Okay.
expertise, and maybe he
I think it was,
updated it.
He
I think it
updated it,
was,
I think.
I can't think of her name. She's my neighbor.
I know who you,
What is
I
her
remember,
first name?
unfortunately. Well, regardless, so we have that link. So our job, or somebody's job, will be to develop that third stage, because that's when we get to our actual website.
Yep.
You see, so we go to
Exactly.
town, to economic development committee, and then that's what we have to work on. We have people, we have Lena in our business
Networking group.
networking group, who I'm sure can be put one bid in if she would be
Right.
interested. She's wonderful. She's wonderful.
And also
person.
just, not just the actual website itself, but from my understanding of great importance is to drive traffic to the website, you know what I mean? And that, all that behind the scenes, whether it be with Google or optimization.
Other social media platforms
Other
too, has to
social
be all
media
connected.
outlets.
So that,
I think it's great. I mean, my question is coming in new and never having any type of, even though I've lived in Dudley for going on 7 years now, is, over the past number, like, what is the vision, the economic vision of Dudley? I mean, I'd like to know, it might be different in my mind than everyone else and all the, different residents, but I don't know if that's, as we begin or embark on, revamping the website and doing things like a brochure, what do we want Dudley to look like? And is it, Barbara and I have talked about this a couple of times. One thing that I've always noticed, I love Dudley, but you drive through Dudley and you don't even know you're in Dudley. There's no town center, there's no town green, yet we do have businesses in Dudley. But, what do we, not just us on the board, but, the feedback from, the town, the residents, how do they want? I know it's very rural, bedroom community. It just so happens that we do have a very well-known college, Nichols College. Is it a potential for a small little college town? We've got a great educational system. Where does everybody here see or have their own vision, and how can we really, communicate or receive information from the town, whether it be the selectmen and everybody else, as to where does everybody else want to see Dudley?
social media platforms. Ask the question.
Where, do we want to attract all these high-tech companies, which is great for, different, revenues that we can bring in? What do we really want it to look like? Has anybody is that something that we can discuss? I know it's kind of a broad topic, but I just, it seems that, I've got to have some sort of a vision before we can, before I can get my hands on, okay, we're going to put together a brochure, redevelop the website, and do all these other things.
Have you ever seen it was done over 10 years ago now, the master plan?
I don't.
All right, I'll send an electronic copy.
Yeah.
I think I only have it done by chapter at the time, because we had to take each chapter at a time. But in there's, the town spent a lot of money. Central Mass Regional Planning required it, the state required it in order for us to get some, even the ability to apply for different grants. But it was, to maintain a good quality of life, agricultural, preserve, a lot of the, topography, geology, recreational. You didn't want hammer factories. And so once the master plan was done, there was a whole rezoning. Center of town became a big issue. So, right, because really the center is up by the Nichols area.
Right, that's what everybody's told me.
So one of the suggestions, and we had just brought on our first town planner, was change the name of West Main Street to Main Street. Got killed, destroyed at town meeting. No one wanted to change the name. When you see the Res 15, so all the zoning districts changed at that time as well, because what we had to do is determine, okay, what areas had any reasonable shot of being developed on a light industrial, which would be like an office space, over the next 25 to 50 years. And so the zoning map reflected that. And then Central Mass Regional Planning said, you want to make sure that you never allow residential development in any way in any of your industrial zones. And so that's why, at one point, right, the heavy industry, right, no residential. It was because that's what Central Mass Regional Planning told us to do. And there was a lot of problems between the theoretical and what looked good to everybody sitting behind desks, and the practical and how it affected people's daily lives.
Exactly, exactly.
And, you know, at some points it became pretty divisive, especially whenever you talk about rezoning. I mean, you're talking about people's homes and, you know, it was an ugly process. And then, once it was passed, right, as there was no water or infrastructure run up to some of these areas that were targeted for, you know, the industry. People are sitting on land now that they can only put light industrial, but they really can't sell light industrial or heavy industrial because,
water.
and they're not allowed, they weren't allowed to sell residential, right? Vacant land. And so what's happened at various town meetings is, as we've noticed where the practical and the theoretical clashed, it's been fixed slowly at town meetings. That's okay, you do this, do this. But the idea of the college town, I mean, you see what happened just in Charlton? Treehouse Brewery,
Oh, right, yeah.
right? 5,100 square foot expansion area there. I mean, right over the line.
Sure.
You know, at the last meeting you talked about, right? Restaurants and
The access to the water, access to the
Yeah,
lake. He's
so-
sitting on gold just to, you know, to make us look so much more attractive to the people coming in.
And is this master plan, is this something that is, you know, is that, do we have the ability to amend or change that? Or is it something that's like, okay,
actually,
this is the
it's-
plan for the next X amount of years, and it's that?
No, we have the ability, and actually it's come up recently that it needs to looked at, and if needs amendments or revisions, we can do it. And to answer your question, what John addressed the master plan, in, I think it was 2010, maybe, there was a new community development plan also, and it pretty much reflected the master plan. And then we had a forum, the Economic Development Committee had a forum as well, to get a feel for how people want to see the town develop and how they want to see it look. They want it to remain the rural, pastoral farmland, and bring in industry that's not going to change that look or that feel or character nature of the town. And so we zeroed in, we know where our infrastructure is and where, you know, where we can develop economically. And something that I've been injecting is we're definitely a rural town. We have the most land in agricultural protection in the state. Next to, the only one topping us is Amherst. So maybe we can generate some business and activity and interest in the farmland. Agricultural protected needs to farm. In order to get that tax credit or that tax relief, you're supposed to be farming your land. So that might be something to look at as well. But to answer your question, that's how people, we've had a number of surveys and forums to answer that question, and people like the way the town is, they like the rural nature, we have pretty hills and scenery, and they don't want to destroy that.
Yeah.
But understand also that we need economic development to balance our revenue.
that community development plan, is that soft copy? Do you have an electronic copy that you could send to everybody? Or is it a hard copy that we'd have to scan in?
I think there's a copy in the planning office. I might have a copy.
Electronically?
No,
Okay.
I have a hard copy at home.
Was that done through Central Mass?
I don't think so. It was a community development plan.
Could you find out who did that? Because somewhere there's got to be an
The
electronic
names are
version.
on, oh, okay. The names are on who
Okay.
were involved. Yeah.
'Cause that would be great to, if there is an electronic version, right? First, we can get it online so that others can read it, but also ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great idea.
And also, you know, since 2010, the opinions might change.
Yeah.
It's technology, it's
Yeah.
going with the speed of light, so what was opinion in 2010 might not be very well in 2016.
And I'm not even, and for me, my vision wouldn't be, you know, to just try to attract, you know, businesses and industrial parks. I mean, believe me, that is one of the real nice parts of Dudley is the fact that it is rural, and there are, you know, the stone walls and the you know, the hills and the farmland and things like that. But is there like a meeting place that we can, you know, come together and say, especially, I mean, I would imagine folks that have been here for generations, you know, this is, you know, a lot of people don't like change, but maybe if it's done in a way that's, you know, done with, you know, keeping that sense of, you know, being a rural town, but yet also having a sense of, okay, you know, this is the Dudley Town Center, this is, you know, whether it be, I know this is, we meet here in the town hall, but just have a few more things to not only attract businesses, but to, you know, have the development which will then, you know, make Dudley really stand out in regards to, you know, other smaller, you know, quaint little towns, you know, and still bring in, you know, the revenues that we need, as you mentioned, but without upsetting folks that have been here for many, many years. And you know, because I can appreciate that, you know, that not everybody likes change, you know, so, but anyways. But I would like to get a copy of that too, John, and read that over.
If we don't have it, online, I could scan it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the other thing is, we talked extensively about having a meeting area, like a town area for a town center. We were talking about the area that's across the street from Marty's Liquors, and it's got the pond right behind it. It's where the old Dairy Brothers used to be, and then the garage place. That's a sizable piece of land that was more park-like, maybe with small stores where people could go and enjoy the water, the view. It would be visible from the street. It would be beautiful. So,
I've always thought that area, if I was driving in, whether it be from Webster or from, you know, the other direction, that seems like to me would be the center of town, even though I know it's technically not. But I would, any type of plans that have either been discussed in the past or things like that, I'm very, very eager to, you know, to work and find out, you know, how we can, you know, move forward on that, providing that, you know, we can get the support.
Well, once we have consensus among the various boards, you know, it's going to take a little while, right, of what we want to do, and we have the blueprints made, then we need to get, you know, Senator Fatman in here and Rep. Durant, and have them be our mouthpieces on Beacon Hill. There'll be a town planner. We have to do a grant application, because sometimes there's grants, both federal and state.
That we could be eligible for?
Yeah, exactly. But usually you have to have this very comprehensive
process.
plan and the support of the town, and
Right.
you know. But there are monies out there for those that are willing to jump through the hoops to get it.
No kidding. Wow. All right.
I think that would be great.
I think it would be nice. But all right, we're out.
All right, so so the mission statement, do you want to actually look at the community development plan? I'll send a copy of the master plan, and then at our next meeting, actually
Develop
formalize our
Yeah.
mission statement?
Yep, that's a great idea.
All right. And then the next thing is the schedule of meetings.
okay. So, let's see. If we go with the third Thursday,
Yeah.
okay, so for July, it would be July 21st. August would be August 18th, and September 15th.
Okay.
Does this time work for everybody?
Yes.
It does.
Yeah, that's the only time.
Okay?
Okay.
So 9 a.m. works. Fred? The man behind the curtain there, if we met on the 21st of July, the 18th,
The dates are good.
those dates work for you?
Okay,
All right.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you. All right.
okay.
So we'll do 9 a.m.
Yep.
on those days. All right, and then, you know, typically at this time, if someone was here, right, we do open floor, any suggestions for anybody, you know, if anybody wants to speak. Is there anything not on the agenda that any of the committee members would like to talk about, or an idea that they may have had over the past couple of weeks from our previous meeting?
Just to touch upon something that you said, so if this is like, this is also an open meeting?
Yes.
So if we had, you know, residents or anybody that wanted to attend, they're welcome to, is that correct?
Yep, and this is the time they could talk about whatever they want to the board, anything that
Great.
they want us to look at or recommend.
And that's also when we can invite people who have something to say
Yep.
or have any questions. But officially, right, we need to make sure we know ahead of time, so we
And
can
is-
put them on agenda.
And is this something that's put on the on the town website, so residents know that they have the ability to come in and do this?
Okay, I put it on this month,
Oh, you
and I will put it on
Oh.
for the next 3 months.
Awesome, great.
We could put it in the newspaper,
Yeah, we could let people know.
yeah.
It'd be interesting to see
Lovely
if there
calendar.
would be, you know, folks that would turn up. I don't know, if people, you know, turned up in the past. No?
The businesses we invited certainly did.
Right.
But most people are working this time of day.
Yeah, work,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, and like I said, even in our open forums, we had very low attendance, and it was heavily advertised. So people who volunteer for these committees are usually the ones who participate.
I understand that.
Yeah,
Maybe we could revisit having one meeting every other month in an evening. Would that be an option? It's not ideal to me, but if that would help the community to come in and, you know, and speak to us, I will certainly.
that's fine with me.
How much notice
Because it's
do
a
we
good
have to
point.
provide to the town clerk and public so let's just say we wanted to have an evening meeting next week. Could we do it? How much time do we have to
We have
have?
time, 2 days,
2 days,
48 hours.
48 hours. All right. So we could do that as we progress, and if they, have a draft on this, or we could just set up a meeting at that time.
We used to meet twice a month. Years.
Maybe in the wintertime.
But maybe we should think about that evening hour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds
okay.
great.
I think so, because that will be better for the
Maybe in
residents.
September.
Okay.
Let's see.
I have a question. I notice across the country there's a trend in some towns to the internet drop-off points. So let's just say by the police station that's in a video area. So let me give you an example. Let's just say I want to sell something on eBay, and I have a buyer in their local or Craigslist. I'd like to be able to go in front of the Dudley Police Department and actually conduct my transaction there
In a safe
in a
environment.
safe, video-monitored location.
Good idea.
And I don't know if our town does that. I don't think they do yet. But I'd like the board's permission to go to the Board of Selectmen and ask them to find a spot that's under video surveillance and actually call it an eBay or internet seller transaction area.
I think that's a
No
great
cost
idea.
to the
Great
residents,
idea.
but they could be safe. Don't have to worry about going to somebody's home.
I absolutely have my permission, that's a great idea.
Just don't narrow it to eBay.
Yeah, exactly. So
Craigslist.
Yeah.
what would we
eBay.
call it?
But
Like an internet transaction area?
Internet.
Yeah, because we
Yeah.
can't zero in
Unsecure
on
internet
one,
transactions.
even though we know.
Commerce, like internet commerce, like, I mean,
Yeah.
Internet commerce.
come up with a nice catchphrase that
Yeah.
when people hear it, they know, oh, that's where it is.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean, what
that's
have other, if you've noticed, I mean, I wonder what other towns that might have this, what they call it. You know, again, not reinvent the wheel, but just say, okay, this is our, place, because, I know a number, I have customers at the bank that they might have a side business, they might, have a full-time job, but yet they, go to different auctions or yards. I mean, anything can be sold on the internet, but like you said, to have it in a safe place, because as we know, we see all sorts of stories in the media about, very unfortunate incidents that do occur. So I think that would not only, generate more interest you know, whether if it's here at the town hall, but then we could identify more, you know, entrepreneurs and more very, you know, small business owners.
Well, that's exactly one of the things I was reading is, right, you see retail collapsing all around us.
Right.
You know, big malls again starting to go empty.
Absolutely.
Right? Everyone's struggling because we've become an internet society. People are doing most of their shopping, right? They're having it delivered.
Absolutely.
And more companies like Amazon and eBay are literally our local residents that find a deal and they're selling it through these sites. And so some people don't even know. And so if we can encourage people to build some side businesses, maybe selling there, and have that safe zone and people buying and selling.
Good idea.
All right.
Right.
You want to do an official request from the economic, so we'll vote on it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So is there a motion to ask the Board of Selectmen and the police chief to set up a safe zone under video surveillance, a free safe zone, to conduct internet transactions for the safety of residents?
I'll make that motion.
And Todd has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Hey, Marcia?
Okay.
It's a great idea.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Good idea.
Yeah, good. Never heard of that before.
We have anything else?
I just wanna bring that once again, that I think we should all be still on a watch for all the businesses that are upcoming and make sure we keep inviting those people in. If you know of anybody who is willing and could use some, you know, help of any kind, and publicity, you know, people are watching, then I think we should on a continuous basis invite those people and maybe let Ellen know that if we do have a guest, I have two myself that I know that are interested. One is Holly Connors. She's a local artist, which we can talk about. You know, that's another topic about the artists that we have. It's unbelievable, and she's willing to come in front of us and talk about what is like to be an artist in Dudley. So
I think that's a great idea.
What is her name?
Holly Connors, Hollly Connors. We have Chris Treadwell, who also is willing to come in. He does own a business, unfortunately located in Southbridge, but he's a Dudley resident. What makes him special, and I think very important for us to talk to him, is his eBay business that he has, which will be great to go with what John just brought up. That's his.
Is that like one of those
Yeah.
consignment shops where you got a bunch of stuff you don't want to deal with it, you just give it to him and he lists it,
Yep,
sells it?
He does
That's cool.
absolutely wonderful work on that, and if anybody, he will be interested in the drop-off, you know.
Invite him in.
Yeah, he right, yeah.
You want to invite him?
Yeah, they already are.
Oh, they are. Okay.
I'm invited.
Are they
Yeah, so
coming?
for next meeting, yeah.
Okay. And what's his name?
Christopher
Christopher. Yep.
Treadwell.
Treadwell.
Readwell.
What was Holly's last name?
Connors.
Start planning for a center of Dudley.
ORS. And they both
Need a vision.
Dudley residents.
I remember when Southbridge, they had a vision for their town, and it was an artist had,
It would be pretty neat to, even with brochure, you know, to just kind of merge, you know, to have that local flavor, and if you can get some local artists to donate some time and
Yeah, she's
know,
she's wonderful.
and-
Yeah.
and even the help with the theme.
We have that feel.
Yeah, and the thing about Dudley too, you know, Mr. Braniff there from the Historical Society, wealth of information, but the history of the nipmunks in this area is really extensive, and so you know you wonder too, you know, if you did nipmunk kind of theme, right? You got Old Sturbridge Village, you know, if you could bring in local craft beer
Black
breweries,
Tavern will be a wonderful
Right?
location for
little
that.
restaurants, have that be kind of that destination, and
That's
kind
the
of
day.
all kind of, you know, monk theme, the Indian
Absolutely.
theme, and
Right.
Celebrate our town once a year.
you talk about Nichols, right? Bed and breakfast.
Sure, absolutely.
We just talked about it this
Yeah,
morning.
when parents come, I mean, granted, I mean,
Exactly.
from what I understand, you know, I mean, they do have, I don't know what the actual numbers are, but a number of students from other parts of the country, but not everybody is very, very local. So when they come, parents come to town to visit or to anything like that, okay, where do they stay? Where do they go shopping? Where do they go? My guess is it's not always in Dudley. You know, it's not Dudley, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, what can we do there? But I really do like what you were saying about history. I mean, I think one thing that makes, you know, every town has a history, right? And is there anything that we can, whether it be the Nipmuc Indian tradition or, you know, things that had happened here, you know, within Dudley's history, to really, you know, bring that and make that, you know, a part of the economic development, because then people will have a sense of, you know, more, I believe, more pride and more, you know, it's, you know, we just don't want to become like another town. We need to hold on to the roots of Dudley. And I mean, it's tough for me because I'm not originally, I wasn't born here, but I mean, it's folks that have, I think will, you know, if they're been here for several generations, would greatly appreciate that. And then folks that are coming into the, you know, to the community like myself, because we might be in another town and you hear, oh, great, the Dudley school system's, you know, wonderful. Younger couples starting out with kids that want to make sure that their kids get a great education and that don't have to, you know, pay for private school. Okay, Dudley's the place to go. It's really safe. It's an amazing police force. There's a great fire department. All of these things that, you know, are going to make people want to come here. But then, you know, that history piece, I think, is huge. And I think if maybe we could meet with the
Let's
person
invite-
that you mentioned.
Let's invite the Braniffs to one of our
Yeah,
meetings.
that's a great idea. You know, get a good feel of maybe
Yep.
the overall theme that,
Yeah,
you know, we could do with the town.
right.
And then, you know, with some of the things like the bed and breakfast, we'd have to see,
That's a
make sure
great
the
idea.
zoning
Yeah.
is conducive to that. Otherwise, allow that maybe by special permit. Maybe there's a fee, you know, that gets paid to the town for it to be inspected, and I don't know. And then, you know, maybe there's the ability to do the occupancy, you know, tax. I mean, we'll find out from Greg what that number is, because they're going to get back to us and say, right, what's, you know, we have to increase the economic development by $1 million a year, whatever that number is, and then we can try to say, okay, how do we get there? But pretty exciting stuff.
This
actually.
is very, I'm so excited. And maybe I misunderstood, but my understanding of the selectmen's meeting that we went to was that we can come up with the number and the town is willing to support, as long as we have a plan to use that number besides the brochure.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about our budget.
Yeah.
I was talking about, you know, how much does this committee need to bring in an additional
Oh,
revenue?
yeah, no, that I understand, but going
Yeah.
back to the budgeting, it's
Yeah.
not just the brochure. That's not how I
Right.
understood it. Maybe I'm too optimistic, but I thought that they were referring to us setting the number.
Right.
And they willing to help us. So
I get,
think that
that's what I got from the meeting as
I did
well,
too.
but I think, you know, like, I think maybe it was you, John, that mentioned, yeah, we need to be very specific in our vision, and if we do have a, you know, a plan, you know, that we can bring to the selectmen and say, listen, we've got some great ideas, and we've already, and we need to show them, prove to them that we've done our due diligence, that we've really, you know, crunched the numbers if in regards to putting together an actual budget that we would need to accomplish what we want to accomplish, and make sure, you know, it's within reason and all this other, you know, stuff. But we can be, you know, very prepared and bring it to them, because I think that we'll be able to drum up enough excitement in regards to the vision and all the things that we've talked about here today, you know, that, yeah, we're going to need some help financially. You know, and if you know, tell us how much that they're, you know, willing to, you know, to give us, and then if we need to look elsewhere in regards to, you know, grants and you know, look to our, you know, state senator and state representatives, and then if we also do need to look to, you know, the, you know, local businesses, corporations that are already here for donations to help, you know, to assist. to work together, all of it. I think we could be very, very successful. You know, so let's do it. I'm excited too.
And I just like things to be revenue neutral, so that at the end of the day, you know, if something's gonna, if we're gonna recommend, like, spending $5,000, you know, we gotta be able to get that money back from that investment.
Absolutely.
You know, and if we say it's gonna cost $1,000, say for the website, we gotta at least get that back,
Right.
you know? All right.
Absolutely. All great ideas.
Any other business?
Not at this time.
Do you invite people for next meeting?
One thing, we're still looking for one more member.
One more member.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested,
All right.
the planning board, that they can pick another person, so.
Awesome.
And they would simply send an email to the Board of Selectmen, right? And then the
Right.
Board of Selectmen will get it to us.
Yeah?
Right.
Beautiful.
Great.
All right, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Okay, second it.
Second it?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Meeting closed at 9:58.
Awesome.